I wish I could tell you that this was a very deliberate and wonderful choice, that I just decided I'm going to go on a little, self-healing journey. But unfortunately, that was not the case. In both cases, in 2017 and in 2020, I was as close to having no choice in the matter as one can have. So both of these experiences represented total rock bottom moments in my life. So these would have been the two lowest points in my life for different reasons, but they were nevertheless the two absolute low points in my life. And I would say, in the first instance, I guess I could have chosen not to go, but I would have lost everything that mattered in my life at that point. And I had, our good friend Paul Conti basically telling me that I needed to do this, that I really needed to do this. And in the second situation, though completely different circumstances, you might think, how can one person in just a span of 3 years find themselves in a situation where they, almost without having any choice in the matter, have to go away to a place where you're basically locked up without a phone for 3 weeks, and you're doing 12 to 13 hours of therapy a day. So nothing about this was something I wanted to do. Nothing about this was pleasant. I would describe these as the most difficult things I've ever done in my life, bar none. And I've done some difficult things in my life, but they've always been physically difficult. I love doing physically difficult things. But this was emotionally the equivalent of, for me, climbing K2 and swimming the English Channel in the same month. Something that just you couldn't fathom. So with that said, yes, I learned a lot. And I learned that people like me can be overly analytical, and that hyper-analytical nature can lead you astray when you think that your intellect is giving you a fact-based explanation for a set of circumstances, and you rationalize them away. Well, this happened to me when I was a kid, but, I get it, and it's not really a problem. And as a result of that, these are actually some positive things that came out of that experience. And I think the real aha moment in my journey, which occurred on a day that I remember very well, was the day I finally dropped that. I dropped that rationalization, and I allowed myself to experience what a child would experience in that moment, and then understood what the implications are for a child going through these things. And I think that was really the first time in my life I ever accepted emotionally something that I had intellectually always said, yeah, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's just, that's just life, and those things happen, and lots of worse things happen to lots of people, and that's okay. And I think it's not that once I emotionally accepted this, I became a victim. It wasn't at all. It just finally allowed me to realize, oh, I can let that go now. Like I don't have to be a slave to the adaptations that came from that. I can surrender.
It's beautiful and inspiring to me. I think that there's this incredible ability that the human brain has to script a story and to compare it to other people's circumstances, and as you said, rationalize what are essentially emotional traumas or physical traumas from the perspective of the adult. But if I know one thing for sure, and I make it very clear, I'm not a clinician, but is that the brain doesn't discard of any circuitry. We repurpose the same circuitry we used as children, as adults. And so the ability to go back to that and to parse it, but as you point out, not from an intellectual standpoint, standpoint, but from an emotional standpoint, seems to be the really hard work